your sleeve fabric.
I don't want to be sewn.
Let me just draw it up for you to see. Generally how a sleeve pattern looks like. You will come across this in most of your stuff, whether or not it's funny shapes. All you need to think about is that this will be halved into this. When you look at it front and back, and you trim this off, and you trim this off. When you sew this edge together,
I bet one doesn't know if it's coming or going.
it becomes a sleeve. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is the basic sleeve shape. Yeah, this is a generic one. There's a lot of things you can do to it. If you want to make this part very simple, all you need to do is just add some extra fabric here. And then when you sew it together, you have to realize that here is thin and here is full. Make sense? Okay. So this is sleeve manipulation. There's all kinds of things you can do with it, yeah? This is the basic sleeve one. I'm going to teach you how to make this part. Why is it like that? This is what's going to happen. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to sew this part first. This all around. Before I even do anything to any of the seams. Yeah? Now, when I want you to understand this, is that this part, like when I lay it on the fabric, yeah, like that, for example, you see the shape, yeah? Okay, here is the vertical, that's unstretchy. Here is also the horizontal, that's not stretchy. But, when I do this part here, it becomes, this edge here becomes stretchy. This particular part here. So what I tend to do is I always draw two arrows here to show people what I'm actually saying. Yeah, these two parts are the most crucial parts to the sleeve. When you sew this, before you even do anything else to your sleeve pattern, don't just be too eager to stitch them together and, oh, I want to fit it now. What you need to do is this very tricky running stitch that goes across the top. This stitch will not be used, it's not meant to stitch anything together. This is to make sure you get the shape of the sleeve. Now this one, what you need to do when you go on the machine is, imagine this is the fabric. You need to get maybe 2 pairs of scissors or something, pull the fabric apart on that stitch line as you're going through the machine. This is not something you can do by hand. Yeah, so you need the machine for this. I'm going to show you now how this is done. I'll demonstrate to this side here because the socket's here, and then I'll demonstrate to this side, yeah? So imagine this stitch here. So, for example, you stitch a little bit away from the line, as usual, where you want that seam to be, where you're going to be joining your fabric together. When you start sewing, I usually use this. You just need something really heavy to pull parts. Sorry, can I just... I'll do it, don't worry. What you're going to do now is this, yeah? Start your sewing. When you pull this part, it's on the horizontal line. So when you pull it, you realize you can't really pull much. It's kind of tight because it's still on the vertical. Yeah. When you come here, you see the difference. I'm going to sew on this part now, the miracle part. Okay? When I start pulling on this, I realize that the cloth actually stretches much further apart. This machine's not so machine's not very strong. Let me just do this properly. Give me a while, guys. Let me sew this properly. It's not, the machine's not very strong.
So in the meantime, does anyone have any questions about what Julia has said so far?
Is there a passion for bell sleeves?
Yeah, it's if you're not going to be drafting patterns yourself to start off with, which you probably what you want to invest in is just making patterns. Wherever you can buy fabric, you usually buy patterns. I would recommend, John Lewis, CNH Fabrics, some fabric warehouses. I would recommend for beginners to stick with a brand called Simplicity, because as you guess in the name, it's the more simple brand. Vogue I would suggest to avoid until you're more confident with what you're doing. Fabric can be okay, it can be a bit of but yeah, with bell sleeves, it's basically increased around the shoulder area. So because you can sort of, bell sleeves, like bigger here.
Like from where you begin with the elbow and then it ends at the wrist.
Yeah, it's basically an increase in the sleeve. I would say if it was something like a mutton leg sleeve, bigger. So it's basically just increasing the diameter of the sleeve.
Basically with the bell sleeve. Yeah, sorry.
It's still following the pattern that you
did you see
how the fabric to where you want it to basically have more fabric, you just elongate it out and then bring it in where you need it to be. So you can work just if you have a basic straight pattern. If you have a really good one that you know fits you, it's worth then keeping a copy of it. So then you can always just trace over it and then practice drawing out another sleeve shape over the top. So you've drawn that then has more fabric coming around there, or more coming out this way, depending on it. And it's always good. I really think it's good to make one out of sort of a cheap leftover fabric that you've got first and always test it. You don't want to go straight onto your expensive fabric that you bought and then mess it up. So if you just got like a cheap kind of cotton that you can use, something like this is really simple. It's worth doing that first, because then you might find there's a problem with something, so you might want to take something in, or you think, oh no, actually I need more fabric for that bit. So it's really good, I think, trial and error is very important for cosplay.
So you already explained about widening it from the bottom and...
Yeah, what is it that you...
Where it was bell sleeves. Did you mean where it's wider there, it kind of goes like that?
No, I'm talking about like very small, simple bell sleeves, kind of like Rin and Academy or Miku Hatsune even.
It's just gradually increasing the size of the bottom of the sleeve until you reach a sort of diameter.
I can show you that.
So
basically, you know on the diagram where you have the shoulder bit like that, and it goes in like that for a straight sleeve, you basically go in like that, and then say you wanted to come out at your elbow, you just change the shape so it goes like that.
And how do you keep it so that it doesn't keep falling off or slipping off? Because I've tried like doing one bell sleeve, but it keeps slipping off all the time.
Slipping off, is it? Oh, I get what you mean, bell sleeves.
From the elbow down.
Oh, that's simple. Yeah,
I use elastic in order to
what it is basically a triangle with the top cut off. And where the flat bit is, where the top's cut off from the triangle, should be wider than the circumference of where you want it to go. Then you kind of flip the top over, sew it, put elastic inside, and where the elastic is, it will bunch it up and it will stop it falling off your arm.
And can you buy elastic from CNH or any fabric?
Yeah, we won't do any fabric. And the trick also with elastic is when you want to get it through, if you put a safety pin on the end of the elastic, you then just keep shoving it through the little sort of
Yeah.
the tube that you've made, and you just keep pushing it through, making sure you pin it at the other end though.
We can just like have it.
And pulling it through with a safety pin.
What we're talking about is that you can also use, if you increase the diameter of the top, you can make a very simple skirt. So it's the same thing. Use elastic around the waist down, it would be a little bit bigger.